Well, everyone, welcome to this edition of World Cup postgame. Sean Miller, of course, who is here, the expert, the man, the legend. I'm Jim Williams, and guys, today, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Brazil was up 2-0 before the anthems were played.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was, they had the ball in the net. Vinicius, I just looked at my phone and said, I like Vinicius to score here today, and Neymar, and, Richarlison, all those players. Probably should have just backed them all. But, they were up 1-0, and then they got the penalty, and it was game over. I mean, and then they just started just playing flair. And, they could have won the game 8-0 if they wanted to. They did that, I feel like in the second half, they're just trying to conserve some energy and really not, embarrass this team. But, they could have won that game, whatever the score they wanted to.
It was totally unlike the first game, which was, I guess it's Croatia's MO, get us into penalty kicks and let us win. I felt bad for the Japanese because I thought they played a pretty good game.
Yeah, Japan really should have been up at halftime. 7 of the last, or they should have been up by more at halftime. 7 of the last 8 games that Croatia has played in knockout rounds in Euros and World Cup have gone to penalties. The game that didn't, obviously, the World Cup final. But that's how they get through. I didn't think they were very good for the first 45, 50 minutes, but then they turned it on a little bit, but then Japan kind of dominated the extra time. So a little bit unlucky, but look, when you don't take your chances and you leave it to the lottery at the end of the game, it is what it is. You got to take your chances in these games, especially against teams like Croatia when you have them on the ropes.
As a coach and someone who's followed the game, penalty kicks are a lot more difficult than people make them out to be.
These guys, first of all, the keepers know exactly, they have a thing for each penalty taker that they're going to get to in these games. So they know their tendencies, they know their last 10 kicks, they know all this stuff, they study, they have the data. That's they're monsters. These guys are, when you see these guys lined up before the match, thing. I mean, these guys are 6'6", 6'7". I mean, these guys are a monster. And the rest of that team is tiny. You see Messi next to them, but these guys are monsters. They're huge and they're quick and they're fast. It's not like it was, 20, 40 years ago. I mean, these guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and have the data. It's hard. Plus, you're in a World Cup on a big stage. I mean, when I take it, every time I would take it in practice, I would tell the kids where I was kicking the ball and still score. I obviously couldn't cheat over. I said, look, stand in the middle of the goal. I said, I'm going to kick it right there, try to save it. And I would kick it right into the side netting, and they couldn't save it. These guys, like, some of these penalties they take, and just watching it, like, what are you doing? Just pick a corner and hit it into the corner. They want to try to change and guess and make the keeper guess, and they just slow run up and the short run it. Go back, run up and smash it into a corner.
Right. And you sit there and go that, at this particular time, you figure that no matter how hard, how good, I should say, the keeper is, and you played this spot, right?
That's right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if I hit it as hard as I can, you're not going to stop it.
If you kick it as hard, if you kick it with pace and placement, the keeper, you could tell him where you're going to kick it, and you could still make it. Like
what you're just saying, like you were just saying, you just said, look, you called the spot, and they still couldn't stop it.
What happens on the stage here? Sometimes these guys get a little bit nervous, and instead of, trusting their training, they say, I'm going to be a little bit safer.
Right.
And maybe not kick it into the corner, maybe kick it 2 yards this way. Well, that 2 yards Now, if you miss kick it a little bit, if you hit it, up here or really, down low, it's probably not going to be, saved. But if you kick it, here and the guy just has to dive here, that yard or two that you're trying to be safe might end up costing you instead of trusting your training. You just got to trust your training.
Well, the other thing is, some people get too cute.
Yes.
And they want to try to outsmart the goal. At the end of the day, if you can put it in the upper corner or either corner or just drive it, left or right, you're going to end up probably getting it.
Yes.
And again, and look, I'm saying it like it's simple. It's not. But, I did feel bad for the Japanese because they just seemed to, if there was a way to pick it to be a mistake, they picked the wrong place. And maybe I'm not giving the keeper enough credit, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't pick it out.
I think, you can't miss 3 penalties. Someone's got to step up. I think it's a mix. I mean, the keeper did well, but at some point you got to kind of say, I got to take better penalties. Especially because Croatia kind of let you back in there. They missed one as well. So, but there's been a bunch of penalties saved in this tournament. It's interesting, but when we came on Friday, I think maybe talked. This is all about the chalk at this point. It's I think the group stage was one of the best we've ever seen, possibly the best. The teams came in shape and played well, and there was a lot of upsets. And the great story on Australia going through, and Japan and South Korea going through, and Morocco winning a group, and they play tomorrow. But right now, we're on pace to have 6 European teams and 2 South American teams right now. That's what we're on pace, unless Morocco can beat Spain somehow, in what would be a huge upset, because when you look at the odds right now, Morocco is plus 550, and they won the group. So, I think, excuse me, it's going to be the powers going in. And, for me, when you're talking about, next weekend, Friday, Saturday, you're going to have, Netherlands, Argentina at 2 on Friday, and maybe and Brazil and Croatia. And then Saturday, you're going to have, Portugal, Spain. What I think everybody was wanting Portugal to play Spain there, and England, France. I mean, if you have Portugal, Spain on Saturday morning at 10 and England, France on Saturday afternoon, there's just you can't get anything better than that. Like there's no college football on. I guess I guess there's pro football that day, right? There's first day of the Saturday games. Is there? Oh no, there isn't.
This weekend? No, I don't think so. I think this is Army Navy. No.
So it's basically just World Cup. I mean, and college basketball. But yeah, look, I mean, you can't get, if it's Spain, Portugal, England, France, you couldn't ask for 2 better quarterfinals. And the quarterfinals are all going to be, I think Brazil, Croatia. I haven't seen that line yet, but I would imagine Brazil will be a heavy, heavy favorite there. Brazil is minus 245 for that. So, I don't think Croatia has a chance. I'm just not sure anybody could beat this Brazil team if they play. If they play the way they play today, no one's beating them. I think England, France maybe could beat them. Obviously, Argentina would be sitting there in the semifinals if Netherlands can. If Argentina beats Netherlands. But yeah, this Brazil team looks like world beaters after today.
Yeah, and I don't know. You had mentioned it. We both talked about it. It's going to be hard. I mean, Brazil and France just seem to be the cream of the crop at this point. And they've proven, and there's been nobody that's even looked like, they deserve to be even close.
The crazy thing with France, too, is that, just think about if you put Pogba, who hasn't really played, but, he's injured, and N'Golo Kante's injured. Kareem Benzema hasn't played a minute. You got Christopher Nkunku, who's been a beast. He hasn't played. He got injured before the tournament. I mean, they're missing like 4 or 5, Teo Hernandez. They're missing 4 or 5 starters or 4 or 5 players that would make this squad much better. And that's the scary thing. I mean, this team could be the favorite to win the Euros in 2024, but they could win they could go back to back. I mean, I think this France England game is going to be tough. England has obviously some talent, but I think France has been there, and I'm not going to go against France at this point.
Well, it would be foolish to.
Yeah.
It would be foolish to go against them. And Brazil is a goal-scoring machine, but they haven't really been challenged from a offensive standpoint. I think the French pose the counterattack that Brazil would be like, okay, rush, let's go for it.
Yeah,
they want to play up. It's like you and I talk about. It's like up-tempo college basketball, right?
Yeah, and Kylian Mbappe is. I don't know. Yeah, I think he's the best player in the world at this point. I think that's being made abundantly clear in this tournament. There are some very good players left in the bracket, and we'll see. But he's on. And he's going to be a terror for anybody to stop there. I don't know who's going to play. Right back. Maybe.
Let's talk about the games tomorrow. Who do you like in those games?
In the second game, I like Portugal. I just don't understand why the line is so low. I think I'm comparing this a lot. It's the first game and the last game to me. England or USA and Netherlands. It was basically the same line for the game. To me, Portugal is much better. I think these lines should be switched, to be honest. Morocco-Spain. I think the Morocco-Spain game could be interesting. Spain just, that 7-0 game aside, sometimes they just don't have that killer instinct. And I just think this Morocco team is going to be tough to beat. I think Spain will probably do it at some, I think they'll get through, but it's going to be tough. To me, the easier game to call tomorrow is the Portugal-Switzerland game. I think Portugal wins that relatively easily, like maybe 3-1, just kind of like the USA against Netherlands, to be honest. I think the first game is probably going to be the tougher game, but we'll see. I think I once again I think that the European teams probably all get through. 6 European teams and 2 teams from South America, but Morocco could be that one team to be the little bit of the fly in the ointment, as they say, and maybe get through. And if they got through Spain, I don't think that they would be scared of Portugal or Switzerland. I don't know if they would beat them, but I just don't think they'd be scared of them.
No, there'd be no reason to.
Yeah,
it's I think that's the key point to talk about, is there'd be no need to. What's
hello? Oh, we lost you. You there? Oh, so yeah, I kind of pick it up here. I think we got Jim. Jim will come back in a couple of seconds. I think we got these 2 games tomorrow, and obviously the games on the weekend. that are going to be very interesting. There he is. There he is. Back in the fold.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We've had some internet connection problems here today. No, I was just asking about. I know we've been talking about World Cup, but just a quick baseball note. Verlander today to the Mets and Trey Turner today to the Phillies.
A lot of money.
I'm sorry.
Phillies spent a lot of money. They got a lot of money locked up in a bunch of players here. But yeah.
Well, they got $600 million locked up in Bryce and Trey.
Yeah, no, and Brian Cashman re-signed through 2026 as well. But yeah, 11-year deal. Dodgers re-signed Kershaw to a 1-year, $20 million deal.
Right.
And this is after obviously DeGrom went to the Rangers. So the Mets signed a Cy Young Award winner to replace a Cy Young Award winner, which is
but the Cy Young Award winner that they signed was almost 6 years older than the Cy Young Award winner they lost.
Yes. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, I think, oh man, that's 11-year deal. Trey Turner's going to be 40 years old by the time this deal ends. Well,
they signed Bryce to a 13-year deal.
Yeah, yep, yeah. No, the NL East is spending the cash right now, which is pretty interesting.
But look, I mean, nobody loves Max Scherzer more than I do. I loved watching Max when he pitched for the Nationals. I cheered for him when he pitched for the Dodgers. But when he signed the deal with the Mets, I'm thinking to myself, he's 36 years old. Okay, and he's had issues when it came to the playoffs. I mean, he just didn't. He just, and that has to do with the fact that he pitches so much. Your arm can only take so much pitching, and so I don't know how much is left in the tank for either of those two guys. Remember that Verlander and Scherzer pitched for the Tigers together 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the Phillies are talking about pitching as well. The pitching in that division. I mean, the Phillies went to the World Series last year, and they finished 14 games behind the Mets and the Braves last year.
Right.
They didn't finish 14 games behind the Braves. They finished 14 games behind both the Mets and the Braves, which is it's tough to make up 14 games on two teams. You can do. Maybe you make up, some on one.
Make it on one, but maybe.
But Phillies have the draft picks coming up: Andrew Painter and Mick Abel. Obviously both who got to AA last year. So it's going to be interesting to see what's gonna happen with some of this stuff. So
it'll be fun to see how it plays out. But I just think, as we talked about World Cup in baseball, right? It's a slog. It's like the Premier League, right? You have to. It's a long season, and you have to hope that your team stays as healthy as possible. But look at what happens when situations, and it happened with the Washington Nationals. It happened with the Phillies. They got hot at the end of the season at the right time, and everything fell into place for them.
Yeah. Yep.
So sometimes you can get hot at the right time.
Well, I just it's interesting you say that. I wrote a couple stories today about the Champions League and the Europa League. The odds, because people, by the time those stories will go up, the World Cup will just be ending, and a lot of people will be coming in, watching soccer for the first time in a long time, first time maybe, and they're looking for stuff to to watch or bet or whatever it is. And usually in the summer, the tournament ends on the second week of July, and then there's nothing to do for 6 or 7 weeks. There's no matches on. I mean, MLS, whatever, but now, the final is on December 18th, And on December 20th, you got Carabao Cup games. Another Cup tournament, which is great. In England, round of 16, and then the Premier League, and then when the Premier League comes back, they're not coming back to one game in a week. They're coming back to play 3 games in the first week back, and then they got the FA Cup kicking off, and then from then on, there's really no breaks. Then the Europa League, the Champions League, all that stuff. So, it's I think it's interesting. This World Cup, what it's going to do is, obviously it's in the winter, so there's all this other stuff around that I think it's going to keep people interested, and they're just going to go right into these other leagues now. But also, the level of play, and we kind of talked about it. There's more people are maybe watching it because it's now instead of in the summer, and you see the numbers. Every day they're Telemundo and all the streaming sites. I mean, they're just breaking records every single time you see them post a tweet.
Yep. And the other thing too, and this as well, if not better than most, is that if you've got when the season, when the World Cup ends in the summertime, right? And and the leagues begin to start, you're not at full roster yet. But coming out of here, everybody's going to be back at full roster. So not only are you going to get to see good soccer, you're going to see, top name stars playing right off the get.
That's the thing. These guys, and these guys are all in shape. Like, these games, I think, have been a little bit better. And there's some players missing, but there's always players missing. It doesn't matter if it's in the summer or the winter. But now these guys are all in game shape. So these games are high level. I mean, even those first round matches that were 0-0s. I mean, it was because both teams were pretty much equal. And now you see the teams with all the stars kind of that play in the Premier League and the Spain and the best leagues now are going to start to rise, and you're gonna see this over next weekend, the 4 quarterfinals, and then the semifinals the following week, and the final. It's going to be all these names like you said, and then those guys are going to go back to play for Manchester United and Chelsea and West Ham and Tottenham and Real Madrid and whatever, and you're going to be able to go see those teams. The week after that, you'll be able to see the same guys. And to be honest, some of these club teams are probably better than the national side. So
yeah, the other thing too, and this is important because this from multiple reasons, and that is that the cool part of it is that. If you're one of these fans who have decided, okay, look, I'm now buying into soccer. I really want to find out. I really want to get into it. They're not going to have a hard time finding these guys that they just saw, play in the World Cup. They're going to be playing on the on the highest level in different leagues, and it won't be hard to find.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yep. And yeah, look, I mean. The ESPN's got the Carabao Cup, ESPN Plus, and everybody's got ESPN Plus now because it's part of the Disney bundle, and whatever, and the Premier League is on all the time, and the La Liga is on ESPN. And, I mean, it's amazing. You can. I actually laugh at my buddies in England. I mean, we have more games than they do, and it's not even close. They actually watch our feeds, which I think is funny, because they always joke around about America. But hey, haha, you're relying on our feeds to watch your games,
right? We've got you've got Peacock that has a ton of games on. You've got Paramount Plus that has a ton of games on. So you've got there's hardly a day, and like you said, ESPN Plus. So you've got all of them out there, and it doesn't matter what league you want to see. it's there.
I contend, there's never, obviously never been a better time. I mean, I go back to the, 2007. I remember, there was Satanta, which it was the Irish channel, and we had it here, and it turned into Fox Soccer Plus.
Uh-huh.
But I remember watching the FA Cup final in 2007, and the picture went out for the first 10 minutes, and I was like so mad. Chelsea played United, and they refunded they refunded us. Drogba scored in like the 117th minute or something like this, but I mean, it was limited back then, but now it's not. I mean, if you I have Paramount, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
of I think I get Paramount with something, and
Yeah,
that
Paramount Plus comes with all of the Champions League games.
Champions League and the Serie A, so you get
Right.
Serie A
Mhm.
as well. So that's Serie A, and Champions League and Europa League and the Europa Conference League, and then they have the ESPN has all the other leagues, and Peacock has the leagues. But then even if you're watching regular and BN Sports has the French league,
Mhm.
which is very good. I love watching the French league games, and listening to all the guys that used to be on. I know our guy Ray Hudson is now with CBS, but
Mhm.
but NBC has, you can just watch NBC at 12:30 on every Saturday, and just
Sure.
over the air and watch the game. I mean, it's to the point now where there's more. I mean, it's this with ESPN Plus in college basketball. If you want to watch Bellarmine and UT, I don't even know, like, or you see Santa Cruz or something like this play.
Right.
If that game is on TV, you can find that. You can find any game you want to stream, which it's pretty cool for bettors as well. I mean, because sometimes I like to watch the games that sometimes I don't care, sometimes I like it, but
Right.
if you're looking for that, but if you can't find a game now, you're not trying hard enough. I mean, there's no excuse like. I can't find it. I couldn't find the game. What do you mean? Just turn the TV on. If you close your eyes and put a channel on, you're bound to find something.
Right. Right. And it's all there. It's all there. And the
Capital Sports will have some games.
that's right. I was going to say, don't sleep on us. We'll be around there too. The the other thing is, from a programming standpoint, it's these games are on, and you can watch them live if you're lucky enough to be able to set it up. But you also can sit back and watch them when on delay when you get home. So if you just want to relax and watch a game, and you didn't see the game, you get a chance to watch it, and just maybe you don't even want to know what the score was. You've got that option as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So there's all kinds of ways to do it, and I think that at the end of the day, it's going to be it's just fun entertainment, and so we'll be watching it and we'll be checking it out. Any questions? Anybody asking us anything here? Let's check the the boards.
We got our Twitch followers going, so that's good. We always got the Twitch people going, so I always shout out to the Twitch people. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to the over 1,200 folks who joined us Saturday for our live party.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm excited to do the next one for.
Together we had in our 2 watch parties, we've had over 3,000 folks who've joined us, and we greatly appreciate that, guys.
I think. Yeah, maybe we'll do something for all you people that don't go out for the for New Year's Eve anymore because you can't be bothered. Maybe you want to just watch the college football playoff in peace at home and not be bothered to leave.
That's right. And we're here to serve.
That's going to be on a Saturday night.
That's right. You got, and then you're gonna flip over on Sunday, and then there's going to be some games, some wild games, some good games on the New Year's Six games are going to be on Monday. So
yeah, because NFL is the Sunday, so
that's right. So I saw that the Penn State is playing against a very talented Utah team in the Rose Bowl. So if you're a Penn State fan, you'll have something to be looking out for. SC gets
they got the line. They have the line for the SC game against Tulane, which is -2.5 for USC, and then the lines they have is for the two playoff semifinals. TCU Michigan is -9.5. Michigan and Georgia is 6.5 against Ohio State, which I find interesting because, to be honest, TCU really, all year, and TCU Michigan kind of similar, and Ohio State got blown out by Michigan, and they're less of an underdog than TCU is.
I don't know. I mean, TCU's been one of those teams that's kind of fallen behind in pretty much every game they played, but then battled back and won. And they ran out of time against Kansas State. That was an overtime loss. Which I think the overtime loss is what kept them in that thing. It kept Alabama from being being the first two-loss team in the tournament, which would have been really bad. I don't think that would have been good for the sport. But at the end of the day, I think that look, to me, I don't see anybody beating Georgia. Maybe I'm wrong, but Kirby Smart has a good football team, and I just I don't see how any one of those three teams that are playing is going to beat Kirby Smart's team.
Yeah, I don't really see it. I think they go back to back undefeated national champions. I just be really, really tough to see anybody beating that team.
Now, as far as the other three, I have no idea how that's going to fall out. Michigan should be able to handle.
I think so. I think TCU got shown up a little bit. Yeah, it should be Michigan. Look, all year the best two teams have been Michigan and Georgia. That should be the final. If there was only, if it was only a one game. If they only picked two teams, it would have been easy. It would have been, Georgia and Michigan. It would have been easy this year with both the undefeated teams. So, that should be the final. I think that's the final everybody wants to see. Some would argue Ohio State, Michigan would be more maybe interesting. But I don't know. Two undefeated teams playing, 2 14-0 teams playing would be, to me, would be the way to go.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up that today a legend passed, and that was at 91 years of age, Nick Bollettieri, one of the true characters of sports. I laugh because Nick, I knew Nick very well and loved Nick. If you can imagine, at one point in time, at his academy down in Bradenton, which now is the IMG Academy, Nick had Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras, and Jim Courier all at the same time at his academy. He had a young woman who showed up at the academy by the name of Monica Seles, who wanted to learn tennis. He had a young woman who, by the name of Maria Sharapova, who with her father at the age of 9 showed up to play down there. You could argue that one of the true legends of tennis from a standpoint of coaching was Nick Bollettieri. And that academy, which he sold to IMG, is now a high school where they bring in kids from all over the country to play football and basketball, and it's a sports academy where they graduate, and it's a 3A school, or sorry, 4A school in the state of Florida. So it's actually a legitimate contender every year for championships. So it's kind of funny because the IMG Academy is fighting the team that they more often than not have to battle is St. Thomas Aquinas. And the reason I say it's funny is the star graduate of St. Thomas Aquinas High School is Chris Everett. So in one way, you have IMG Academy where Bollettieri taught tennis, and on the other side, you have St. Thomas Aquinas is where Chris learned from her dad and played tennis on the tennis team. I actually played against Chris in college. We were, in high school. We played mixed doubles. I should say they played mixed doubles. I watched as Jim and Chris beat the daylights out of me and my partner. But anyway, rest in peace, Nick Bollettieri. Fantastic guy, a wonderful mentor, and truly one of the amazing characters in sports, to be sure. But that's an idea about having a New Year's Eve party with bowl games.
Yeah, it'll be the Ohio State-Georgia game. So I don't know. I mean, we don't.
Well, we get gin up the conferences. That's the SEC taking on the Big Ten. Bragging rights there.
Yeah, I think I'll have to kind of find out. Anne-Marie.
Checking with the research department.
Trying to find out if we're gotta kind of get it.
Well, we haven't announced it. We're just talking.
See if maybe she'll come on for that. But yeah, we'll wait for her to get down here. Maybe she's playing. So come here. All right, hold on. Are you going to be? Come on. Are you going to be around for the New Year's Eve? All right. This one.
Oh well.
There's Luke.
Nope.
Yeah. We'll ask her off air, I guess.
We'll figure it out. Okay, well, let's run over tomorrow's schedule one more time.
All right.
And the games for tomorrow. Who do you like in game 1 and 2 tomorrow?
I'm gonna go with. I guess I'm gonna go Spain in that first game. I think it's gonna be tight, but I'm gonna go with Spain. Second game, all Portugal.
Okay, sounds like a winner. All right, gang. We will see you tomorrow, 4:05. Put your pencils down, and we will see you 4:05 tomorrow. Have a nice evening. For Sean Miller, I'm Jim Williams saying so long. Take care, everybody.